It's very important to know at the very beginning of this that Twitch, this is Twitch seeking feedback from the community using their research group to trial potential new changes to Twitch's sexual content policy. It appears to me that they might be considering launching a kind of Twitch After Dark and tying that in with the mature settings. Now, again, crystal clear, this is not confirmed, but it does come from Twitch, and it is them looking at the community saying, how do you feel about these changes? Okay? So I want to make that clear right off the top to prevent any kind of misinformation that Twitch is definitely making these changes. They might not. They're seeking community feedback. Okay? Good. Here it is. Twitch is proposing to prohibit nudity, pornography, and sexually explicit content, but allow other content that some users may consider to be sexually suggestive as long as the stream is correctly labeled as mature. We've talked about the mature setting on Twitch right now where it really doesn't matter. The mature, you can set your channel to mature and it doesn't matter. All it does is actually create a kind of stepping stone that prevents people from consuming your content. None of the top streamers really do it except for Trainwrecks. Amaranth doesn't do it. None of the ASMRs really do it. There's no real reason to do it because Twitch does not actually enforce it. Specifically, Twitch will prohibit sex and masturbation and content that is mimicking or implying sex or masturbation, as well as the outcome of sex masturbation, i.e. sexual body fluids. This policy update will be rolled out with product changes to the mature flag, okay? So they're saying that it's going to be released. I don't know if they are or not. They're seeking feedback. But related to the mature flag, so again, the mature flag currently says that your channel is mature content, but there's no reason to do it. There's no reason not to do it. It's just not enforced. To make it easier to change the settings, to make the flag more impactful for discovery. What does that mean? To make the flag of mature more impactful for discovery. To me, that suggests the opposite of discoverability and suggests that perhaps something that is a little bit more mature might be less discoverable, but you can create it with less confusion. All right? And to enable Twitch to turn on and enforce the usage of the flag, which they currently do not do. All right? So that's the context at which the rest of this has to be looked at through. So here we go. This is stuff that you cannot do on Twitch according to this potential new sexual content policy. Users are prohibited from broadcasting, uploading, soliciting, offering, and linking to pornographic or sexually explicit content. This includes, but is not limited to, explicit, simulated, or implied oral, anal, or vaginal sex, explicit, simulated, or implied self or mutual masturbation, including groping or caressing genitals. This kind of makes sense. I don't think this is already allowed on Twitch as it is, but one of the things I want to point out, they made an update to their harassment and hate policy to provide actual examples of what those things would be. And they've done that here. Playing a pornographic audio on stream. Sharing or creating content with explicit or implied erections. And I'll point this one out for M60. Posting detailed ASCII art of an erect penis in chat. No longer would be allowed. Displays of sex toys in a non-educational context. Okay. Phone sex, chat sex, or otherwise engaging with other persons or chat to create new content related to sex or masturbation. Display of sexual body fluids. Performing, creating, or sharing violent, humiliating, or gore bodily fluid-related fetish content or content involving bestiality or incest. That includes any BDSM content involving more than one adult. Sexual violence and exploitation of sexually explicit content involving minors are strictly prohibited. See our policy on sexual exploitation for more details. That is the stuff that would be potentially not allowed. I think that's already the case on Twitch, if not a little bit pared back from what they usually have limited, and they've provided actual examples here. They've actually provided examples, so you can kind of get an idea of what is not allowed. as it relates to having the mature tag here, in that it looks like they might be a little bit more flexible. And they provided some options here. Mature content. While some content may not violate our community guidelines, it might not be appropriate for all Twitch users. To protect Twitch's younger users and to help all viewers make more informed choices about what content they watch, we require creators to mark their stream as mature when a core aspect of the stream or its focus is on mature content. And this is where we actually get some answers here in terms of what would be considered mature content. And I gotta say, if this is the case, if this gets released, it definitely offers the ability for streamers to essentially create a Twitch After Dark category. It might not be visible. It might be removed from some sort of discoverability. Can't see the word. Discoverability. It might be removed because of the mature tag, but it looks to be a little bit more flexible. Sexually suggestive content. While Twitch prohibits nudity, pornography, and sexually explicit content, content that viewers could find suggestive is allowed as long as the stream is correctly flagged as mature. We also require that creators mark their stream as mature if the content/behavior is very likely to elicit a more mature chat conversation. Examples of content that require a mature flag include, but are not limited to, sexual health education content, discussions of sexual topics or experiences, performing or creating material that could be considered fetish content, body writing on top of breasts, inner thighs. There's currently no policy that details that. And now they're saying, yes, you can do that, but you got to be mature. Got to have your stream set to mature. Again, theoretically, if this gets released, again, I want to make that very clear. This doesn't guarantee that this does get released. They are seeking feedback from the community using the research portal to get this feedback right now. Setting up a webcam that focuses only on your feet. Twitch in favor of potentially having a feet cam. I'm going to tell you right now, if this gets released, if this policy does get implemented, LSF is going to freak the fuck out. There is going to be chaos in the Twitch streets. Groping, fondling, or caressing your own or another individual's breasts, buttocks, or breasts, as long as such content does not progress into explicit, simulated, or implied masturbation. They're saying that in this context, it might be okay. Prolonged kissing or repeatedly kissing the webcam. Repeatedly sharing depictions of facial expressions associated with sexual arousal. Content framing, camera angles, and body poses that are intended to highlight an individual's buttocks, crotch, or breasts, including in artistic creative content. Angling the webcam so that it focuses on a woman's cleavage instead of her face. Creating a painting of a character where the perspective focuses on their buttocks. Engaging in strip teases or lap dances, or prolonged or repeated dancing focusing on daggering, my favorite dance, grinding, that's why I own a ladder, that primarily involved or are intended to showcase breast or buttocks. Pole sports or acrobatics, performing pole exercise routines, practicing for a pole acrobatics competition. Displaying or creating art that includes fictionalized exposed breasts or buttocks. Channel text, titles, overlays, or go-live notifications that contain titles, names with overt or implied sexual themes, including NSFW, erotic, or implicit references to sexual body parts using emojis or graphics. Directly encouraging or eliciting sexual, suggestive, or otherwise mature conversations in chat. Users may not offer any sexual content, including the above content, even when it's properly labeled as mature, in exchange for money, services, or items of value. This includes linking to exchanges of such content off of Twitch, such as OnlyFans. This was presented to the Twitch research group, asking for feedback from the community. Now, they do send out a lot of different, various requests for information, including things like, how do you feel about this logo? How do you feel about this car ad? How do you feel about this slogan? So it doesn't inherently mean that these are coming to Twitch, literally, figuratively, or metaphorically. But it shows that they are actually interested in potentially either loosening or making more clear what the sexual guidelines, what the mature content will be on Twitch. I, for one, am particularly interested in seeing it. I don't know for sure that having having a Twitch After Dark category is inherently good or bad. I don't actually know. But I think that having more clear answers on what is and isn't okay with examples does actually help a lot, and will kind of, and then again, kind of relating it to the discoverability thing here, to make the flag more impactful for discovery, would actually potentially make it so that content that people might find to be sexual, for example, a lot of people take issue with the ASMR category and the amount of tongues that are in ears, perhaps that would be allowed, but in a kind of a sequestered area of Twitch, that when you just went to a twitch.tv and you went into browse and you went into ASMR, perhaps it would not be there. Perhaps it wouldn't inherently be available on the front page. Perhaps it would be more akin to having content like this that might be there because it would be considered too mature. And so you would have to potentially go to an offsite or switch a setting to say, hey, yes, no, I am mature, I'm 18 plus, whatever. And as such, that content would be more allowed on Twitch. It's kind of interesting. We'll have to see what ends up happening. Again, we don't know for sure whether or not it will end up getting any kind of release, but I'll definitely keep an eye on it, and this is kind of the first look at a potential change to it. Hey, if you enjoyed this video, make sure you click like, click subscribe up there, and then watch this video. What else you got to do? You're on YouTube anyways. You might as well watch something else. It's right there.